With the Galactic Republic in a state of turmoil, following the rise of Count Dooku's Separatist alliance, the Jedi Padawan Anakin Skywalker and his master Obi-Wan Kenobi are at the centre of the Jedi Order's attempts to stop a full-scale war from occurring. But the Sith were far wiser than the Jedi could have anticipated, and luring Obi-Wan to Geonosis, Anakin and Senator Padme Amidala of Naboo fail in their attempted rescue of the Jedi. As a result, 212 Jedi are forced to leave their sanctuary on Coruscant, but they prove to be insufficient in comparison to the droid army, until the newest batch of clone troopers, passed through by the Senate to be the Grand Army of the Republic, arrived to save them. Through it all, Anakin and Obi-Wan were busy tracking down Dooku, and stopping him before he could escape from his secret hangar. They battle the former Jedi Council member. Their skills proved to be no match, and in the duel, Anakin's arm is cut off by the Sith, forcing him to adopt a prosthetic limb. But what if Anakin had not lost his arm? Could this change the battle with Dooku? Would it make him weaker or stronger? As you'll find out, the retention of Anakin's arm could have consequences for the subsequent Clone War. Watching as his master clutched his injured leg on the floor, Anakin quickly caught the lightsaber thrown towards him and began to match the Sith strike for strike. Still fueled by the anger at seeing Padme fall into the sands, the Jedi was nevertheless not deluded enough to think he could take Dooku out alone, so rather wisely, he moved the duel away from his injured master and to Dooku's ship. Surprising the Sith Lord by knocking a wall mounting into his path, Anakin decided to take control of the ship and moving it to the edge of the cliff face. He leapt out onto a passing Republic gunship before it tumbled to the ground below. By returning to the hangar, Anakin's risk had not paid off, as Dooku calmly stood with his lightsaber over the body of Obi-Wan. Anakin knew he could not move, or his master would be dead, and merely staring at each other, the Sith is suddenly pushed back into the wall of his hangar, and Anakin turned around to see the diminutive figure of Grandmaster Yoda. The Jedi then lifted Obi-Wan to safety, whilst the other clones of Jedi trapped Dooku, and he had no choice but to accept capture. Placed on trial in front of the Chancellor and esteemed Jedi Council members, Dooku wondered what his master had planned, and soon he found out, as he subtly used the Force to switch off the lights, and Dooku leapt from his pod to batter two members of the Coruscant Guard. Moving quickly to the exit, he managed to escape all of the clone troopers, but he had not accounted for the appearance of Anakin Skywalker. The Jedi Knight was better prepared for a second encounter, and deflecting the Sith's lightning attack with his blade, he still stumbled back, and Dooku could flee back towards Sereno. Whilst he tracked down the Sith with Obi-Wan, the other Jedi were more concerned about what had caused the power outage in the trial, and Master Voss leads the investigation with crime scene investigators and droids. But even utilising his psychometry, he could find no hint of any unusual activity near the generators, and the only conclusion was that the Force must have been used. Palpatine had quickly become aware of the loose end, which the Jedi were pursuing, and with the Council beginning to interrogate all of the Senate guards, the Sith Lord secretly persuaded one of them to shoulder the blame. Dragging the unfortunate guard to his cell at the Republic military base, Palpatine thought he had put an end to the inquest into Dooku's escape, but Anakin and Obi-Wan had other ideas. Even though Dooku had built up an impressive fleet, the piloting skills of the two Jedi and their squadron of ARC-170 starfighters were able to create a shortcut through Separatist airspace, which the Master and Padawan used to track the Sith Lord to his home planet. When the Jedi had arrived, they had already received the development that there was a traitorous Senate guard, and pointing their lightsabers at the calm Sith, they asked him how he had manipulated them. Dooku cackled and looked at Obi-Wan, reaffirming what he had told him on Geonosis, that the Sith Lord was overseeing the Republic and the war, before turning to his castle. Anakin was about to give chase, when from the side of the castle's foundation, 2 battalions of droids rose to intercept them. One was led by the fearsome General Grievous, and the other by Dooku's newest recruit, in the Dathomirian Asajj Ventress. The Jedi each hid behind one of the enormous and decorative pillars that adorned the palace gateway, and asked for the clones to arrive from the nearby system to aid them, but the Jedi had to roll out of range of the blades of Grievous and Ventress. Now completely separated from each other, Obi-Wan could see Dooku looking at the battle with amusement from his throne room, and he was determined to defend the honour of the Jedi, as he used Grievous's hate for the Jedi against him. enhancing his leap several times to jump over the droids. Grievous's aggressive nature forced him to run through his own army, saving much of the effort of the Jedi, and inevitably they clashed blades. Dooku had not expected the Jedi to make such swift progress, and rapidly uses his holographic projector to summon a super tactical droid, and hovering down from the comfort of his throne, he would show the Jedi why he had left them. That is it for part 1 of What If Anakin Never Lost His Arm. If you'd like to see a part 2 soon, please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films. And as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next, and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.